Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Her Podcast featuring the one and only Miss Emerald Marie Vickers.
Ashley, thank you so much for having me. You are a ball of energy.
Oh, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. Look, I for some reason I realized on my intro I was like, dang, why I'm doing the little shimmy like Tony Braxton. He wasn't man enough for me, like the little shimmy where she about to hit. I was like, oh, I did this. Okay, but I was like, it's my little like intro energetic. But how
Yeah,
you
you
doing
gotta get
today?
hype. You gotta get hype. I get it.
You doing all right today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. It's interesting being on the other side of the foot. Normally I'm the one like my notes. What am I doing? What am I talk about? But now I get to show up, so it's nice.
Uh, hey, girl, it's your turn. So it's like we're gonna have like you get to be like the receiving. I'll make sure to like deliver it for you. But like, hey, you got mail, girl. You got mail coming in.
Thank you.
So let's get it started. So Miss Emerald, can you tell us like your sports journey and how you got to where you are?
Yeah, my journey was really uh very a lot of twists and turns and a lot of adversity. But in short, I come from a long line of basketball players. My father was a basketball player at Iona University. He's still in the Hall of Fame there. Played for the legendary Jim Valvano. But all my uncles, my siblings, we all pretty much played the sport in college. And basketball was like my number one love. Like I was a hooper through and through when I was a kid. That's all I wanted to do. Every Christmas, I got another basketball. And I was really excelling in basketball. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I was a part of like a small school district. So I really, really wanted to go Division 1, and I just knew with the school that I was attending that AAU would be my route. So I was a part of a multitude of AAU teams, and I was got a multi-sport athlete. I was always running track in the wintertime, cross country, to stay in shape, volleyball sometimes. But then when I got older in high school, I was really like locked in on basketball. So every winter since the eighth grade, excuse me, every spring season since the eighth grade, I was going to the New York State Championship. So I was kind of building like a track like resume um, that ended up being the thing that saved me later. So junior year, I tore my ACL, and as you guys know, tearing your ACL is like devastating to an athlete, and some will say even career ending, right? And it really hit me hard. Like I was so depressed. 11th grade, I had every school that I could dream of sending me letters, and I was invited to like UNC Chapel Hill camp. Harvard women's basketball wrote me. Iona, Georgetown wrote me. Davidson was probably where I was going to actually go. And that summer, I hurt myself, and I could have recovered, I feel, in time to secure a scholarship. But when you hurt yourself entering your senior year, like that end of junior season, it's like everyone knows that's recruitment time. That's locking the deal time. That's when I hurt myself. So then I ended up coming back senior year, and getting I was all well senior year, and I ended up winning the New York State Championship for high jump for small schools, and I took the first Division 1 ride that I could take. So I was definitely upset at first. Like I'm grateful in retrospect. However, I was definitely like, I'm a hooper. I'm a hooper, and it was painful the first year. Like I couldn't even attend the girls' basketball games at Towson because I just felt like I should have been on the court. Um, but yeah, so basketball's always been my first love. However, track became like, my, and I could say like basketball is like that's just my primary, but track became like, like I'm good at this, and it became the vehicle that changed my life in a lot of ways as well. So
For sure. I've heard a lot of stories lately where people who play basketball, like they love it and they end up going on track because
mhm.
like, and it's such an interesting like sports pipeline, like
Mhm.
from the indoor, like running 94 feet up and down to like the track where some run, some jump. And I'm just like, how did that happen? But hey, I'm here for it because I noticed the rise of track has increased for
Mhm.
a long time. lately. So, but from your experience in both playing, basketball and in the track, what's it like to see both of those sports flourish in the women's sports aspect?
Oh, it feels amazing because and one, that's a good connection that you made. I want to say between like basketball and athletes kind of migrating over. I think track, we always used to say, is we are everyone else's punishment, right? When you are playing a sport and you got to get on the line and run sprints, like what we do for our actual career of a track athlete is another team's worst nightmare, which is running, strengthening, and jumping. So I think any track athlete can kind of convert, vice versa, because it's uh it's a sport that builds up your body, right? Um, but man, seeing the advancement of both has been incredible because I remember being a little girl and watching basketball. And though I still had dreams of being a professional at that time, like now, man, the opportunity in college, NIL, beyond that, high school partnerships. Like my sister was an incredible basketball player. She had 1,000 points, I think, by senior year of high school. And her and I always speak about it. Like if Instagram was really around during that time, the level of exposure kids are getting, they're getting noticed by colleges early. The pipeline is strengthening, and it's making it harder too for many. Um, I think there's a lot of pros and cons, and we can get into that later. But I definitely think it's all in all like just amazing to see the advancement of basketball and track. I do wish for track to get a little bit more love, though. I feel like people only really pay attention when you're in the Olympics.
Hmm.
I don't feel like college track still gets the amount of love that it is due.
Yeah, especially like and it's interesting. I've had like I've always had asked like multiple college, track athletes, whether they're on the track, whether they're on the field, like, do you hope to see more people actually tune in to watch it in the regular season versus like say, it's very popular, like you said, it's very popular in the Olympics, and then also with, social media brings the exposure of it where they, people can highlight, watch the highlights of it through like say their favorite track athlete. A lot of the track athletes, a lot of athletes, a lot of people, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of them see their favorite track athletes through social media, whether it's through their stories. So it's like that. It provides an insight, like who they are, what they're about,
Mm-hmm.
also on and off the court. So, and this leads to my you know, do you feel like the NIL has changed in ways where social media's presence is felt as well as the representation of athletes in their sports?
Definitely, I think NIL has changed the whole culture. Like I think now it's there's so many pros and cons of it. So this is my take of the pros, right? I think on one hand, it's made people more athletes more career like more aware of their worth. A lot of athletes go to these schools and it's a pipeline financially. They're pumping so much money into these schools, yet they are on campus starving. Like between study hall and the food hall closing, they don't really have money to go get food, but yet they have practice at 5 a.m., right? Like I was a student athlete where I was bartending while in school. When I look back at it, I don't even know how I did that. However, if I was able to do a local partnership with a food place and or something else, maybe that could have sustained me, right? Maybe that those partnerships would allow me to focus on my academics and my athleticism a little bit more. So on one hand, I think that it's made for more confidence, more empowerment, more self-worth, more causing you to carry yourself like a business woman or man. But I think there's some pros too to acknowledge. I think the visibility on social media is definitely helpful to get eyes on you for recruiting for the next level. But then you have microscopes on these people. I mean, it's turning into like you're in college and you're a young lady or young man. You have so many eyes on you now, and they're critiquing you. Like you just came out of high school. Think about how immature you were. So I couldn't imagine. Like I'm older now, and I have some eyes on me on social media, and sometimes I second guess, or I'm, like it's hard for me. I couldn't imagine being so young. Angel Reese, obviously, I think is the number one example of this. Like, her social media presence has changed her life, but then it's also like, look at the negativity, look at the stigmas. Like, it's she gets so heavily and harshly criticized.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that because it's like, dang, I've never seen someone that is so harshly criticized for doing what she is doing than Angel Reese. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you a lot of people ask for athletes to be more than an athlete, and she's epitomizing her being more than an athlete. She does in the entertainment business with podcasting. She has her own like collaboration
Skincare.
clothing with Juicy and
Mm-hmm.
me. The girl manifested, and walked in the Victoria's Secret fashion show, like doing so much, and and then also having her own like menu from McDonald's that a
Yeah.
lot of people like. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just interesting to see like some people like to pick and choose which athlete they want to represent or who should be the face, but it's like you have
Yeah.
all these athletes that are doing it because they see their passion. And at least my question for you, being both in the entertainment business and in the sports, do you see a coexistence of both businesses in what you're doing?
Oh, absolutely. When I interviewed Carrie Champion the other day, I had asked her a question about politics and sports, right? And one, they're so intertwined. It's not even funny. I feel the same way about sports and entertainment. First of all, watching a sport is entertaining. It's entertainment, and now more than ever, brands are treating, as they should have been doing, athletes like the influencers and the talent. What bigger stage do you have to be on Sunday night football or basketball, right? Like, or at the Olympics. So I really feel like, yes, shout out to all the creators and influencers, but athletes, the stages that they're on, the schools they represent, the communities that they represent, brands should have been on it. Like these collabs with the WNBA, who better to talk about makeup staying on your face than playing with a face full of makeup for an hour, sweating, on TV. So they definitely coexist. I mean, now there's way more brand launches and partnerships than ever. That's actually the space that I'm diving into aggressively with my PR firm, sports and entertainment. um you're seeing drink collabs, wellness collabs, athletes. There's always a running joke that athletes want to be rappers and singers, and rappers and singers want to be athletes, right? But both worlds really work together.
Absolutely. And you know, I got a chance to like be at the events that you hosted with the Baller family. Shout out to the Baller family. If you have not checked it out for the women's sports and female athletes, connect with other female athletes in women in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Download the Baller family app. Do that.
Yes.
So you got a chance to you know interview Cheryl Swoops and Carrie Champion, both influential women in sports and female athletes, especially in their craft. You know, for you, what was that like to be able to speak to two of, if not two of the most phenomenal women in sports in just the space?
Girl, let me tell you something. I have interviewed a lot of people. I've done a lot of red carpets with entertainment folks. And though I respect being an actor, singer, I think there's raw talent and all of those things. There's something for me in my heart that when I speak to an athlete, a female athlete, that is just like Cheryl Swoops, to kick it off with her was like, the little kid in me was like, wow. And then for her to be so vulnerable and open up and just discuss like her womanhood and her being a mother and the challenges of playing a sport now as a young lady versus when I was a kid, like I resonated with her as a woman first, right? And I think doing these interviews has caused me to humanize people a little bit more. I think a lot of people are fans of celebrities and public figures, but don't really understand like they are humans. They bleed like you, they have families, they're sacrificing, and it's not all glamorous. And I think a few things that stuck with me with Carrie Champion and Cheryl Swoops. It was just like the commonalities that we all have as women navigating our life. I mean, Carrie Champion, I didn't really get too personal with like her mother, you know, being a mom, dating, all of that. But with Cheryl, like we did speak candidly about that. But man, like so honored to interview both of them. Like I damn near cried after both those interviews, and I don't know what's getting into me being so emotional lately. I just don't understand. I'm such a crybaby. It's ridiculous, but I think it's my work feels more intentional these days and more like what I'm picking and choosing to cover and to work with is like really on purpose. Whereas before it was like throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks because I'm trying to grow in my career. So
Mhm.
now that the things are very intentional, the opportunities rather, like I'm like really overwhelmed by it in a great way.
For sure. It's crazy because like just speak like you said, speaking to both of them is like the little kid inside of you, just like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like
Like
this is
Cheryl Swoops, the first woman to ever get drafted in the WNBA. Like what? And then after she followed me, and she DM'd me a little funny meme the other day, and I'm like, and then Carrie Champion followed me, and I'm like, I'm over here fangirling, and I keep my composure as you see, but after I just need to take a second.
it's interesting because I literally told I was like, hey, if I'm hoping to get a follow from both of them because I literally said, hey, I literally messaged both of them, thank you, and like literally like, hey, thank you. If you're interested, I would love to have both of you as a guest on the podcast. I was like, but that's just like wishful thinking. Sometimes you gotta manifest that, but
You're doing it for sure.
I'm doing my best. That's all I can say. I'm doing my best.
You are,
I'm doing
and just keep showing up for yourself, being consistent. Don't be discouraged when people do or don't respond. Like even with us, I know you reached out and somehow you got lost in my DM and then we circled back. Like the way you're operating, this was me in the beginning. Like I was shooting darts at everybody, and don't be discouraged. Like just be consistent, keep showing up. And sometimes you ask someone to be on your podcast in the beginning, and maybe they see, is it big yet? The followers, and sometimes they circle back, sometimes they don't. But what's for you is for you, and I think you're doing a great job by networking with people across, up, down, around. Like just keep pushing your work out, and you'll be fine.
oh, I'm gonna cry later on. I just first of all, I love a girl's girl, like just like all the hype, like when a girl female you know
Yeah.
compliments the girls. It's like we already go through so many quote unquote competition with one another. I don't need to compete with another girl. I don't need to. Like
Yeah.
I just want to be encouraged. Like I encourage others. Like we need some more supportive, encouraging women. Like
Yeah.
just so. But my question for you is, you know who I always say that athletes are humans first.
Hmm.
And for you as a black woman and athlete and also someone that owns their PR business, how important is mental health?
Oh my gosh, girl, so important. And I felt like I used to say that back in the day in a very like generic way, but mental health is so important when you're wearing multiple hats because it almost feels like you have multiple identities, you know, like living in LA, working in Hollywood, it's a different subculture in itself. And then when I find that when I go back home, people don't really understand my life over there. And there's a lot of the duality between like being in such like public big places and then kind of going home for solitude and talking to people that may not be able to relate to certain stuff. Like it is interesting. But my mental health, honestly, like lately I've been really slowing it down. At one point I felt like I was at so many things and I'm meeting so many people and it's a lot of energies, a lot of souls. It's a lot, right? But lately I've been really intentional about taking care of my mental health, finding solace, working on my confidence, feeling better about where I'm at in life. There's a lot of goal setting that I did earlier in my 20s, that things that I haven't accomplished that I really was like beating myself up over. Um, I recently just started going back to therapy and I had a therapy session just 2 nights ago and it was really, really good. And But mental health is so important. You have to find ways to decompress. You have to find ways to make sure that your confidence is intact. And sometimes it's just okay not to be okay. And I felt like last year, I no lie, I really felt like I had like what's the word? Like high functioning depression. Like I was doing so many things, but I was not okay. And even now I'm still kind of dealing with that, but I'm intentionally like slowing things down. But it's just extremely important.
For sure, because I just really, and I literally talk about this a lot, like, and I really just hope and pray people understand that athletes are humans first. Do
Mhm.
you hope to see more people in the sports space, whether they're athletes or the sports media, speak more and be open about mental health?
Absolutely. And honestly, like I do feel like I hear women talk about it, but I'll switch over to the men real quick. Like, so mental health is so important. And particularly for Black men, right? I find that a lot of Black men and athletes really struggle with identity after their sport. If I would say there's an area of mental health to speak about, a lot of Black men, I just feel like they grew up thinking it was NBA or nothing. So their worth and their self worth is so tied to that dream that it's like it paralyzes them. And I feel like now more than ever, I'll talk to like a little boy and I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up? NBA. Talk to a grown ass man. What do you want to do? Well, I wanted to go to NBA. Like, it's such a paralyzing thought and dream that we all know not everyone makes it, but like it's okay if you didn't. You're still so talented and blessed and amazing and can do so many other things. And I think I dealt with this too after I left college. Like my identity, my youth goal and dream in life was to be an athlete at a Division 1 level. And then once I did it, and then had to navigate pivoting into school into a career, I was just like, what now? A lot of athletes really suffer in the transition. And not to mention, if you were a D1 athlete or whatever division, you were not well prepared for your career. You had 5 a.m. lifts, you had 2 days. You couldn't intern. You couldn't go to job fairs like that. You were not an athlete. So, not to mention, none of us felt prepared to find a job at all. And now, take it a step further, there's so many players that played overseas that come home. And now they're older with less skill sets, right? Trying to pivot. And I think the mental health of that identity of being a star in your hometown, your school, and people seeing you walk around and not really knowing what you do or want to do, it is very like it is such a sad thing to watch. And I went through it too, so I almost think there needs to be counselors to like prepare you for graduating out of your school and being an athlete into a working adult.
For sure. You know what? I, I had to take a whole bunch of mental notes with all that. I was like, I really, kudos. Yes,
So do
I
you know
agree.
people who struggle with that? Their identity after playing?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's like,
Everyone. Yes.
yeah, and it's almost like I'm not gonna say I don't want to. I hope I say it's like sometimes it's almost like an imposter syndrome. Like you try to figure out who you are or try your best, but then like and this happened. I feel like this happened and showed a lot during COVID, like especially with college and professional games being shut down. So people were trying to wondering, who am I without my sport? So it's
Yeah.
like, how do I distinguish outside of it? So
Yeah.
I think we saw a lot of that.
Hmm. And Carrie Hilson was on Cam Newton's podcast, and she made a good point. She said, "Men that were athletes and that were stars, they've been put on a pedestal for so long in their life that it's hard for them to like. I don't want to say be held accountable or know when they're wrong, but like when you've been praised for how good you are as a sport your entire life, learning something new feels foreign, or like being taking criticism, or I'll put it in basketball terms or sports terms, like being a rookie at something, right? So now you graduate, you are a rookie in this office. It's humbling, and I think it's a hard pill to swallow. And we sensationalize sports. We also make it seem like it's the only way to make money, and that's why
Right.
I think too with NIL back to that, like being able to make money in college is going to really change the game, because now people can be like, okay, there's this one basketball player from, I think, UNC Chapel Hill, who like invested in the ice cream franchise.
Yes, he did.
Well,
Steph Trimble. Steph
yeah,
Trimble.
like there's less pressure now for him to go, because it's like, look at what he's building now, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I know a guy from my college, actually. He got drafted in the NFL, but he ended up playing on the practice squad, right? But even if you land on the practice squad, you're still making money. He went and invested that into a landscaping business down south, and it was dope, because it was like, okay, he kind of knew and had the foresight to see, like, my career is only going to be so long. I'm on the practice squad. So I think part of it too is a lack of the reality check of like people thinking about when this time is coming to an end. But I think that thought process is so scary for most that they don't properly plan.
It is interesting how you mentioned like the Steph Tremble invest. I was like, I knew exactly who you were talking about, the person
Mhm.
from UNC Chapel Hill that invested. I was like, oh yeah, he literally owns like a majority. He owns a Ben and Jerry's now. At
Yeah, it's
like,
amazing.
just like I was like, huh. Like I remember hearing that. I was like, dang, did it's like I'm here for it. I love it
Yeah,
here.
yeah. And I will say, I think women do a little bit better of a job than men with that transition for some reason. I don't know if it's just because like we wear so many hats. I don't know. Like, men wear a lot of hats. I'm not trying to play them. Like, I'm a big advocate on for men too, but I don't know. I think the way we have to show up and be like soft at home and then masculine on the court, and then like a bull in the office. Like, we just kind of adapt. Our adaptability level, I think, is like a little different. But I think men, their self worth is tied so much in being an athlete, oftentimes when they're younger. So I don't know.
I definitely agree for sure, especially like, with for the men and especially male athletes, like with mental health, like you just talked about, like, you know, they're so tied to their sport, like, they try to figure out who are they outside of it. I think, you know, and I take a man's mental health so serious because
Me
it's like
too.
I'm like, sometimes I always wonder, when's the last time someone ever told a man, hey, I just want to check on you, make sure you're good. Like, how are you mentally? Because, like, you don't hear that a lot
Yeah.
from,
I'm
so,
constantly telling any man in my life that I'm proud of them and checking on them. Like, even my boyfriend, I'm constantly just like, "Are you okay? Like, you good? Like, what's going on?" Like, just as a check in, because I don't think that I think a lot of, especially in this generation, I think a lot of women see men as just like, I get the whole providing thing for sure, and I want my man to, of course, be a provider. But I also don't want you just to make money and die, right? Like, you just grind, 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 and you're not enjoying the fruits of your labor. So like, I think men are worth more than just paying for things. I think they can contribute so much more. So I try to make sure at least my man knows, like, I value you as a whole being, and I want you to have so much joy, and like, really live life to the fullest, not just what you can give to me. And
mhm.
a lot of men, outside of what they can give to a person or a woman, don't really know even who they are or what value they have. So
Girl, do I sense an engagement happening for you? I sense an engagement happening. But, like,
now we early. I mean, one day for sure, I want to get married and have children. But it's it's been some months, so no rush. We got stuff to do.
but,
But I love
hey,
you, man.
but like have the whole like the "He Proposed" song by Kelly Price, but like it's
Yeah,
like
you're
one of those it's like one of those moments where you finally get proposed and you're like, oh, I just like this new car, and it's just like the steering wheel and it's just really your hand with the ring. And so like
Yeah, I've always think about, like, I'm really private when it comes to dating and stuff like that. I've always been like that. I really wonder when that time comes. Like, I always say, like, I'm never gonna post my hand until we're married. But even then, I feel like I just like to protect my relationship, like.
hmm
And I just wonder if I'm gonna be one of those that's gonna be. I say this now, but maybe when I get proposed, I'll be like all up on my timeline. But Yeah, pardon me. I do admire the women that I see that keep their family like close, you know, especially when you like be out in public and work in different spaces that are really public. So, yeah.
And at least to my question, can you like you work in you have your own PR business. Can you like talk about like how did you get started in the PR business?
Absolutely, girl. I always say PR found me. I didn't find PR. That's a fact. So let me tell you, I was the friend even since college that was like the connector. Like if there was a party to get to, I would find out who the promoter was and get us discounts because we on the track team. Or my track teammates can attest to this, or I get them in free. I've always been the person to be like the middleman, right? And or just think like, oh, you got this business on my homegirl writes for Forbes. Let me get you an article. Or, my buddy works there. Like, let me call him. Like that's networking is what I am, what I do. I think it's a part of my personality. So when I was doing media and I was doing I was a journalist covering different carpets and whatnot, I was just meeting a massive amount of people all the time. Became friends with a lot of different actors and journalists and all the things. And I never see myself doing PR because I always enjoyed being talent. I always loved being a model, dreams of acting on the other side, etc. Um, and just being on screen camera host. So honestly, what happened was all my friends kept telling me, girl, you giving out gems for free. Like you connect people all the time. And honestly, I connected two people, a very large comedian with another comedian. And this comedian ended up bringing this one on tour and he made a lot of money. And when I circled back and tried to get this person on my podcast that I had launched at the time, couldn't even get them on the phone. And honestly, it was a wake up call for me of like, you're struggling here in LA financially at this particular time frame, but yet you're putting money in people's pockets. And a lot of my friends that were PR agents were like, girl, you need to PR. You're already doing it. So then I just simply made the website, made the foundation, but I didn't stop really what I was doing. I made it official. So once I did, man, the first 6 months, I was like, oh, shoot. I had 4 clients. I was getting them press, getting them appearances, doing the marketing. Like it just really grew. And now I'm a little over a year in business and it's been like an incredible year. Like I look back and see like the money I was able to produce for myself, um, the type of partnerships I was able to facilitate. And I'm really like, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started with PR and I'm so excited.
Oh, you better. Ooh, yes, ma'am. And it's interesting you mentioned about red carpet because it's like for some reason I always want like for some reason the red carpet I would love to go on is like the SB Awards.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the red
will
because I was
manifest it.
girl, girl. I manifested to have it on my little what's it called on my vision board. This is like 2 years in well, this is my new one for my new year. But like I said, I literally want to like literally like be nominated for SB and receive it and be like just doing this and like say something. But like, look now, I don't know if anybody has seen what they like. I don't know if anybody's seen or heard someone like me, but probably not. But I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And just feel like, I literally like I just feel like imagining just holding the SB, just how like people will just imagine you doing something and then like you're actually there.
My whole
Yeah.
life, girl. Trust me, like manifesting your life is just the key. Like my sister used to tell me, actually, she used to call me. She probably doesn't remember this. When I was in college, the night before my meets, and she would just say, "Envision yourself jumping over the bar. Envision yourself running through the finish line." And I would do that, and I do the same thing with my career now. Like a lot of the brands I've modeled for, I just shot for Target last month, and I know Target's controversial, but I did. Um, and I used to walk in Target all the time. My friends can tell you, and I would be like, "Dang, I want to be up there modeling." And when I got that call, I'm like, "Do I really like spoke this all the time?" So, but yeah, God willing, you will be there, and keep pumping out your hyper focused sports podcast, and I'm sure there will be an opportunity where you either interview at the SBs or you are attending. So,
Yeah, because like not just only attending, but like I just want to like hey, if they have like an award for it, can I just like I just want to hold the award and actually do a little speech for it, like, hey y'all. Um, yeah. But I'm gonna be very civil. I'm gonna like look now. Like just very like just like informative, just but not too informative, but like just be just like, especially like, first of all, like I said, Miss Emerald, you are her. Because literally, when I looked it up, I was like, oh, she is her. Like all the brands, like that I used to like, I know or wear. I'm just like, oh, she is her. She got all these like, oh, yeah,
Ashley,
like
stop.
I like. I gotta be. I was like, oh, she is her. Like,
Thank
she
you.
better know it too, because I was like, especially first of all, that the one with Kyrie Irving shoes that you did, I was like, slay the day, slay all day.
Thank you, girl. That was just an event. I didn't model for them, but hopefully, shoot, I would love that. But yeah, that was just the event. Thank you.
Hey, Kyrie Irving, if y'all need a model for y'all shoes,
Shoot, I think I got them somewhere over here. Child, look. If y'all need me,
hey,
answer, call me.
it's like, hey, you call me on, yeah. So,
Right.
so my question for you is, if there was a word or a phrase to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
Ooh. Um, I would say a phrase that would describe my journey would probably be just like dreaming out loud. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Because when I tell you the things that I've dreamed about that have happened, I just like it's insane. Whether it's modeling, being on certain carpets, being meeting certain people, just dreaming out loud. Like I feel like I'm even on the worst day of this journey, I'm living my dream. I'm going after it, and um, yeah, I would say dreaming out loud.
Oh, let me get my little fan real quickly. Fan of facts. Fire. So yeah, it is Sunday, and some gems and facts being dropped. So and
You're so funny.
won't he do it? Yes, he will.
Yes,
Lord,
he will. Nothing but God. Trying to tell
God is
you.
good all the time, and all the time
All
God is
time,
good.
God is good.
Yes, yes. Finally, I had to teach someone that phrase. Literally, the God is good all the time God is good. I said you have to, when somebody say God is good, you say all the time, and then all the time.
God is good.
I
Uh,
literally had to teach someone that. So I was like, because I was like, I thought you lived longer than me. How did you do that before?
that's yeah. That's some auntie shit, but that's funny.
I have realized, I have realized we are, well, quote unquote, I've been told I'm on the auntie age now, which
Girl, we both are. We not too far apart.
what? I just turned 33 this year. So, and I don't, all I can say is we don't look like we're in our 30s. I'm just letting y'all know. We don't look like it. We don't.
Thanks. I don't even say how old I am no more. It's like, nah, I'm mad young though. Yo, let me ask you, who do you have to teach that phrase to? Were they a black girl? Couldn't have been.
What?
The God is good all the time.
No, I taught my family.
I was like, how you not know that one?
Oh, I taught my family that, and then I taught somebody else that, but uh, they were a different ethnicity of it. But I was like,
Right, because if you black, you already know that. That's
good.
funny.
I just, I have to teach certain things. It's like it's funny because it's like when I have to teach some of my family things, like especially if like I had to teach like they're like, what is 6'7"? I'm like, why are you asking me what 6'7" is? I had to look it up. I mean, I heard of it. They were,
That was. I still don't get it. I heard there's some story behind it, but I don't get it.
I was like, oh, well, according to, it's just an inside joke. It's just something to say inside joke. Like, you know what? The last time I heard 6'7", 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. That's the only
Right.
6'7" I know is Lil Wayne 6'7". So that's six
Well, wasn't
seven.
ours like 21 or something like that back in the day?
21.
That sounds
Yeah.
old. Oh, sound like an auntie. Let me stop saying back in the day.
Well, we're not old, y'all. We're young. We, all I can say is when you pray, drink water, and mind the business that pays you, you great. So
Period.
I'ma just, like I said, I'ma still be young. I'ma drink my water.
Yo, Ashley's funny.
Oh, thank you, girl. Let me tell you something. If I can make somebody laugh or smile or make someone's day, I'm great. That's fine. As long as I do that, my day has been made. I just pray I make somebody's day or something like that. So so and I always ask my guests this question because Bonafide means authentic and unique. So
Yeah.
what makes Miss Emerald Marie Bonafide and what makes your story stands out?
Ooh, that's some good questions. Um, I think what makes my story stand out is the fact that like I don't pick one thing and let it define who I am. And I say that because I struggled with that when I was younger. Like I think we're kind of taught to pick a career and stick to it, but like I literally do whatever. I have free will, and I remind myself that every day. And I think with that, I've kind of pivoted so much in my career that I've just collected gems and experiences, and I think it's really I've had just a unique path. I didn't go to school for a lot of the things that I do. It was straight willpower and seeking the opportunities and the knowledge. And I think that's what makes me a little different. Plus, I'm an emerald, and they're rare to find. Okay, but yeah, I just think I just try to lead with like my passion and my heart and what God really has led me to do. Um, and I think that's what makes me unique. Not sticking to the script, going off script, doing whatever I feel is necessary to accomplish what I need to accomplish.
Period. And emerald is a rare gem, y'all. So that
Me too.
so like she said, she is rare. Her name is Emerald. She's rare and she's a gem, and that's our period.
Yeah. I used to hate my name when I was younger, but I love it now. It's so funny how shit works.
Hey, but like, you know what? Let me just it's like I'm gonna like just like my name is such a blessing, y'all. Just like look, if you gonna approach me, do it accordingly. Not just then again, I'm rare. I'm a rare. I'm a rare. I'm rare. I'm rare like a gem. Period.
Right.
So Miss Emerald, can you let the folks know how where they can find you and support you?
Yes, you can follow me on Emerald Marie on Instagram, Emerald Marie on YouTube, Emerald Marie TV on TikTok. Now, what else I got? For all your PR needs, EVPR Agency on Instagram and www.evpragency.com. And yeah, stay tuned. Hit me up if you need me. I'm here.
Y'all be sure to follow the queen here, Miss Emerald Marie, at all her social medias, and be sure to follow her for upcoming events. And also, y'all be sure if you do check out the Baller Family app, she is the one and only host for all the amazing interviews. So be sure to check out all the recent interviews on the Baller Family app and YouTube with Miss Emerald, with Miss Carrie Champion, and Miss Emerald and Cheryl Swoops. So be sure
Yes.
to follow Miss Emerald as we speak. So big shout out to everybody that tuned into Bonafide Her Podcast, episode 185, featuring Emerald Marie. Big shout out to the queen herself for coming on the podcast to share your story. Y'all be sure to check out the live replay after this.